end of September, we start on Wednesdays enrichment classes. So that will take care of that hour or 45 minutes.
Wednesday you start what?
Enrichment
Okay,
on those Wednesdays.
on those Wednesdays.
Well, it'll be every Wednesday, but it'll help cover those. Yep.
I guess the question is, do the families sign up for the after-school care and then enrichment is separate? Or
Yes.
so you choose what enrichment you're signing up for?
If you go on the school website and you hit the MCLP link, you can see our enrichment offerings. And then a lot of times parents email me or they go home to the classroom.
And-
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's first come, first served because a lot of the instructors want like only 10 kids or things like that.
So, and then in terms of the after-school non-enrichment, how do they decide where they go? I mean, you said it's a small group learning type of and homework.
Well, what
help,
they
or
do is they all come down, we feed them snack, they start their homework. The students that don't have homework do like a recess time. Then during their snack time, they sign up for various activities, such as, what did they do yesterday?
Following the theme. Our theme right now is So Long Summer. So we're trying to do some things that are fun for the kids, just trying to get them back into the routine. So we had some schoolyard games, kickball, jump rope, chalk. The first day of after school, we did some All About Me posters, what I'm looking forward to, that sort of stuff. The kids get the chance to choose, it's student-led. Our program is student-led. So the students get a chance to choose what activities they're going to be signing up for. We don't place them in the activities ourselves. So our activities usually last 45 minutes, and each of our staff is responsible for, doing one activity with the students. So.
I think one of the important things to point out is that while Ann's program is doing before school and after school care for Harwich Elementary, it happens differently at Chatham Elementary, but Ann has been working with Teresa Malone at Monroe Community Services so that we're trying to align and do similar things, have similar hour overlaps and support families similarly, but that same sort of children can do different activities happens in the after school opportunities that the students have at Chatham. One of the things I've asked Ann to do and change now that we've fully come together is to start looking at the enrichment opportunities that are happening outside of that after school program. Let's say she has an instructor that teaches children how to play chess. If he's coming on a Thursday in Harwich, can we have that same instructor be available to come to Chatham? And these are programs that families go and pay a little extra for the enrichment program. So just to have those same opportunities happen now for Chatham, and then to look at what opportunities could we going to have available for middle school students as well.
That's a question. Actually, I don't know, question versus suggestion, but is it possible to maybe have enrichment in the mornings because of the late start now?
I had one teacher approach me to do that, and she has yet to come up.
I just, personal situation, I have a first grader, and we kind of look at each other and twiddle our thumbs after my fifth grader goes off to school earlier. And so just instead of going to the morning program, which I honestly don't know how it's changed into at Chatham Elementary, but just a thought.
It's going to be harder though to get instructors. I'm having a hard time right now with the teachers at the end of the day. I'm trying to figure that out. We did offer one enrichment last year in the morning, and I had like 3 kids sign up, and it was like at 7:45. So it's hard. I'll try. I'll do it for you, but unless you want to offer one.
No.
That's what I do. I go out in the community. I get parents, so watch out.
I need him away for a little while.
It's like
Well,
a
you
math
get your
program.
friend to do it.
No. My children and I butt heads when it comes to my
Just
knowledge.
send them to the before school club.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thanks.
Next on the agenda, Warner Regional High School, Middle School handbooks. Who wants to go first?
Who's got the short straw?
Will you be using the projector?
No, I don't think so. Will we, Jane, you don't need me?
Just to let people know, clearly we're still working out some of the kinks on the lights. The lights are on a timer, not a switch.
I hope they were motion detectors.
So I was going to bring up that same elephant in the room, the lights. As the principal of the school now, and 2 meetings we've had no lights. You know, I think there's been a lot of controversy out there, the tipping point when robots and automation will take over humans. And I'm mowing too right now. I will go home and watch Terminator tonight, and next week or next committee meeting we will have lights on. We will defeat the automated lighting system. So thank you for your patience. I just wanted to just bring up a couple of highlights before, if I might, before I get to the handbook, because I'm really excited about the first, full week of school and the things that are going on here. So I did want to share some things with you, keep you abreast of that. The kids started school last week. This week we're in the middle of our first full week, and we hit the ground running day one. I think that has a lot to do with our teachers' mindset and preparation. We're coming to school even though some of the boxes are still not unpacked, some of the lights don't work, computer's not fully up and running. We still have good people here and great teachers. So I think the long block allowed us to have our full schedule day one. There was no abbreviated schedule. There was no starting late or this or that. We went into period one, and teachers laid out their syllabus, and teaching was happening day one. And that's the first time I've come to a school where that's happened. I think the long block had allowed for that as well, but also teacher preparation. So that's been going on day one, so we didn't miss a beat. We're already in day 6 of education here, and that's pretty exciting. So the curriculum is happening. We were also able to have town hall meetings with each grade individually to set the tone and to share expectations and to answer questions of students. And I think that went exceedingly well. We were able to let the students know that they have a beautiful facility comparative to a college level facility, but we also believe that we have high expectations for our students, but we also will have a lot of privileges for them. And I think I'll share a couple other things that we've started that we've seen them rise to that level and really enjoy the school. So if you come and visit us, I think you will have the feel in the culture of school already of a small college atmosphere. And I'm really proud of that fact, because you don't see that in many places. For example, we've instituted something called the Take 5, which was vetted through our staff and through our kids, and overwhelmingly received approval. We extended one of our second period block. Passing time is typically 5 minutes. We've added an extra 5, so it moves on to 10 minutes for that block from 9:27 to 9:37. And Take 5 is that additional 5 minutes, and we spoke about rejuvenate, collaborate, connect. And what we mean by that is, so you have that time for students to have the freedom to go to the cafeteria. It's open to get a bite to eat if you didn't get that breakfast. Now you can get that breakfast. If you want to collaborate and connect with a teacher to get that homework assignment that you may have missed, sit in the commons or in these comfy chairs, pull out your laptop, meet up with a friend, and then the last piece is connect. Just socialize, healthy socializing, which is often rushed in schools because you're rushing to that next place. And the teachers like this as well because they can meet up with students, they can catch up a little bit if they're moving from class to class, get themselves set up, and also rejuvenate. So the first week of that has gone very well. I think it's exciting to have that, but as we move on through the year, I hope to share these nuances that we have here that allow our school to be on its way to being one of the best in the state. I certainly believe that's happening with some of the things we're putting in place. And again, supported by our staff and our students overwhelmingly. And it's an example of when you walk around here during that block, and I encourage you to do so. It's not a maximum prison here. There's not teachers everywhere. There's kids bubbling about. There's kids in the courtyard. It's just a real healthy environment. So it's really cool to see. So I'm very proud of that, and I wanted to share that with you. The last thing I do want to share is our new student enrollment. It's really exploded. Over the last month, we've had 51 new students into our building. When I took took over in the summertime, it was under 600. We're about almost 640 now. I know capacity is 700, so, and the tide has not stemmed. Each date is another and another. So you have that chart with you, just some of the summary points there because, to save you some time, 51 students, 12 are school choice, and it shows where those choices are from. 8 chose from outside the school or moved here, and our guidance counselors informed me that there's at least 5 out of those 8 parents have called us personally and said they researched Cape Cod, they were going to move here, they didn't know where, and as we know, parents will often look at the school system to make a decision on where they live. And at least 5 out of the 8, if not all 8, chose Monomoy or Harwich or Chatham because of the school. So that was really cool to hear. I wanted to share that with you. And then 31 students returned back here. And we didn't think that number would be high, and I wouldn't think that number would be high because once kids are in high school with friends and make connections, it's hard to go back and leave high school. And 31 of our students did just at the high school level. So I think it's pretty exciting news I wanted to share, and that gave you that breakdown. The next,
Billy, I think
I'm
there's
sorry.
just one other quick thing to note. I mean, not only did 31 come back, but the difference in terms of tuition that we were paying out for some of those 31, including a few that were at charter schools, there's about $140,000 in terms of tuition shift coming back our direction, either with these 31, coming from some of the 31 that are coming back home to Monomoy, but also others coming, others that are coming as part of that school choice dollars. So it's a pretty significant shift in a short period of time.
as far as promised, that will be reflected in my Christmas bonus. For the record, good luck with that. Some more sand shark that catches something. That's my bonus. So the next thing I want to talk about is our handbook, which I want my assistant, Janie Girolamo, has spent, I unofficially was hired in January with the starting date of June 1st, but spent several nights, weekends, and hours working with Janie, who was also doing 2 jobs, her job in Harwich High School and her job preparing for Monomoy. Just wanted to share with everybody publicly how blessed I am to have an assistant so great. And it was telling that when I met people and listened to people about the new school, everyone brought her name up. And overwhelmingly, 100% of the time, said she is amazing. She's a consummate professional, hard worker, dedicated, and fair. I think that's all you can ask of an assistant principal. So she's been working on this since January because it's an amazing task and undertaking to combine 2 schools, 2 different cultures, 2 former principals with their own personalities, and a new principal with his own vision and personalities, but to keep us all on the same page and kind of work through this thing, spending a lot of time on it. I'm very proud of this document and look forward to sharing some of the highlights. I know Janie's done a lot of work on it, so I'm going to turn it over to her. I'll also be available with her to answer any questions when she's done. All right, Janie?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate that. I think, weren't we on the phone maybe New Year's Day?
At halftime. Can't let my friends know this.
But I'm very happy to present you the first ever Monomoy Regional High School Student Parent Handbook. I hope you received a copy, a memo. There was a little chart that went over some of the highlights. If not, I have more. Barbara, was that? Okay, great. There's more if you didn't. What I really wanted to highlight for you is this truly is a Monomoy handbook. It's not a Harwich handbook, it's not a Chatham handbook. It went through multiple levels of discussion and review and work to blend, take the best of each, add some new, so it really is reflective of a truly regionalized handbook. And the work, it was about a 3-year process. We started in the spring of 2012. The 2 principals at that time, Kevin Turner and Paul Mangelings, were charged with looking at the handbook and looking at some of the major handbook items to see if they could bring those together. And the 2 areas that they tackled were the attendance policy and the chemical health policy. And that took a lot of work, a lot of discussions with faculty, a lot of discussions with school councils, and that was aligned, which I'll talk a little further at the end about some of the major alignment items. The next year, we had George Sopel, former Harwich High School teacher, alternative education teacher, and he was taking some administrative coursework, doing an internship, and he took this on as a major project, working with me, and then also working very closely with Paul Mangelings to go through the rest of the handbook and flag all items in that handbook that needed further discussion and review. That took a year process just to go through all of those items. Then I picked up with it the winter of 2013. As part of my own professional practice goals, I wanted to get over to Chatham on a regular basis. Since I was the continuing administrator in the thread of consistency and continuity, I wanted to make sure I was visible at Chatham High School on a regular basis. So either every week or every other week, I spent a day or half a day at Chatham High School for two purposes. One, to be able to sit down with Paul and hammer out more of the handbook items, but also to get into the classrooms and visit teachers and sit in, not for evaluative purposes, just to become familiar with the students and teachers' style, and have the teachers become familiar and comfortable with me, so we could develop that working relationship even before I actually was officially one of their administrators. So that really worked very well. In that process then, Paul and I, again, hammered out more of the handbook items. Faculties were involved at faculty meetings with discussions. The guidance departments of each school were brought together. I put out a small faculty survey on some of the hot items, which might not seem like hot items, but they have a lot to do with school culture and climate, such as hats and food and cell phones, to try and gather faculty input on that. School councils also discuss these items. Bill was hired, started July 1st, but was on board unofficially in January. And as Bill said, we were working on the handbook, we were working on other issues, we were working around the clock. Bill was in New Bedford and I was in Harwich, and we worked during the day and we worked at night and we worked evenings, and it really paid off. Because then when Bill officially started July 1st, we were in very good shape with the handbook. We tweaked some of the items. Bill really wanted to wait. We tweaked them as much as we could. Bill wanted to wait until the end of summer, early September, so we could fine-tune a few things with faculty, involve the faculty, and bring it all to closure. So we did that, and then the final layer of review through Joan Goggins' office, the attorney looked at the handbooks and made suggestions, recommendations, things that needed to be in, revisions to laws, new laws, and she also brought some more standardization to the handbooks throughout the district, which is really very nice. So this process was a very thorough process. Can I say it's complete? No, it's always a work in progress. In terms of some of the highlights, the attendance policy, Chatham's policy allowed for 20 unexcused absences before a student would be in jeopardy. Harwich's allowed for 18. So Harwich adapted, did I say that the right way? Harwich allowed for 20, Chatham allowed for 18. So Harwich adopted Chatham's policy of 18. And then the tardy policy was aligned as well. In terms of chemical health policy, both districts had a chemical health policy. Chatham did not have a healthy choices option. If a student had a chemical health violation and they were sanctioned, there was a penalty. Harwich had a healthy choice option where you could cut that penalty in half by participating in a healthy choices option. Chatham liked that idea, so Chatham adopted the healthy choices option. Chatham, when a student was sanctioned under the policy, allowed students to participate in practice, whether it was an athletic practice, a theatrical performance practice, where Harwich didn't. A student could not participate at all. So Harwich liked the idea of keeping a student actively involved in a healthy activity. So Harwich was very interested in allowing that practice option. So the two policies were melded in terms of chemical health. Some of the other decisions had cell phones, food, drink, honor code. Right now, we are not allowing hats during the school day in the building, outside the building. Students can use them. Cell phones, we lightened up on the cell phone policy. At one point, Harwich didn't allow them. Chatham didn't allow them. Then both schools allowed them during students' lunch periods. This year, we're allowing them in the hallways during a lunch period, and both schools have always allowed it in a classroom with teacher permission for educational purposes. We just ask that students be respectful, and that if they're in the hallway and they're listening to their iPod with music, that they have the earbuds in, and that they're attentive when they're plugged in and texting, and they're looking up and not bumping into someone, and just keeping the tone down in case there are any important announcements. And students are really enjoying that right off the bat. Food and drink, right now we are only allowing food and drink in the morning in the cafeteria and during the students' lunch period. We want to be respectful to the new building and the facilities, so we're not allowing it in the hallways and in the classrooms. And we also have students at the high school with some significant health allergies, so we want to be very respectful of those students. Food and drink is also allowed in designated areas. We have not yet determined what those designated areas will be. We wanted to get used to the new facility, talk to students about that, talk to faculty about that, and then develop some designated